Oh yeah, bring me in. Oh, hello everyone, and welcome to the program Business Point on Global Television. My name is Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining this time. Today we'll be extreme different angles of the economy as we bring you business report and updates from different segments and different sectors of the Nigerian economic sector. We'll be starting from the forex space, where forex crisis threatens multi-million dollar data center investments in Nigeria. Data center operators in Nigeria are grappling with several impacts of protracted forex crisis, which is now threatening millions of dollar investments already sunk into building the facility. Industry stakeholders have raised concerns about the growing difficulties in attracting additional funding as operators struggle to generate returns aimed the worsening exchange rate instability. The situation, they says, is further exacerbated by the unfavorable disposition of Nigerian banks towards investing in its type of business, which conditions the operators to continue seeking foreign investors. Understanding that the Nigerian banks are unwilling to exercise patience for long-term investment, which is required for the data center business. There have been issues, moving around Forex and FX, but now currency validation has been the biggest problem in this sector, and then aimed at several other challenges such as power and other infrastructures required to facilitate smooth running of a data center. The operators said the instability of the Nigerian currency has become the biggest problem. According to the chief executive officer of the Digital Realty Nigeria, one of the leading data centers companies in Nigeria, engineer Ikechukwu Nnamdi, approximately says 90% of the investment required to build a new data center in a foreign currency, as most of the equipment needed is not available locally, analyzing how the forex crisis is discouraging foreigners to invest in the data center business in Nigeria. This has been one of the major challenges that the FX market and have been facing in terms of getting more investors to invest in this sector. So the fluctuation of Naira rise and fall as at last night, close of business yesterday, the Naira closed at 1,635 Naira to a dollar in the black market and 1,617 Naira in the open market. So all of these things now are the challenges that we're facing, and obviously opening today's business day, the Naira opened up at 1,635 Naira in the black market and 1,617 Naira respectively in the open market. So all of these things now are the challenge now that's being faced by the FX and data business centers in Nigeria, and the fact that banks are unwilling to invest long term. So all of this now is what is causing all this, rise and fall and fluctuation of the Nigerian Naira. We're hoping to, come out of that. But moving on, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has posed take legal actions against executives in Nigerian banking sector over allegations of financial crimes, including money laundering and fraudulent practices. The EFCC chairman, Olukayode, made this known during the 17th Annual Banking and Financial Conference organized by the Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, Abuja. Speaking at the event, Olukayode confirmed that the Commission has concluded its investigation into several banks and their senior officials, signaling imminent prosecutions. Olukayode expressed the EFCC's determination to impose strict penalties to align Nigerians' financial system with global best practices. He further says that it is sad that we have also compiled our document. We have made necessary investigations. Now, very soon, we will see some banks being persecuted, some top officials being persecuted, as he emphasized. The EFCC boss emphasized that the lack of panel consequences for criminal infrastructure in the sector could jeopardize the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. He further says that we need not just to do something drastic to bring everybody in line and to make due to us the right thing. It is extremely important in a system where there is a panel sanction for criminal infractions. That system will never survive. So if there is no law and order, definitely system will survive. He further emphasized on ethics. On ethic practice in the sector is purging the sector, including foreign exchange manipulation, fraudulent charges imposed on depositors, and active involvement in money laundering scheme. The EFCC boss further says that the EFCC boss further operators efficiently deceives that means devise means to circulate regulations and rule in despite being for higher yields and bottom line. So all of these things now the chief and the leader of the EFCC has said bankers now would be prosecuted if found guilty. But before we dive in deep and get deeper into today's conversation and the update on business from every angle, we'll be going on a quick break, and when we return back, Business Points continues. Yes, many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is Business Points on Global Television, bringing you updates from the EFCC and the EFCC now is looking forward to, start prosecuting and charging banks, those fraudulent bank operators in the system, so as to have a very good financial system in Nigeria. He was speaking about ethics practice in the sector is purging the sector, including foreign exchange manipulation, fraudulent charges imposed on depositors, and active involvement in money laundering schemes. The EFCC boss said operators frequently devise means to circulate regulations and rules in desperate bid for the higher yield and bottom line. Sharp practice such as forex trading, defrauding of depositors through phantom charges, and complicit in money laundering and illicit financial schemes involving politically exposed persons continue to undermine the integrity of the sector and, by extension, the nation's economy. He stressed that the involvement of financial institutions with politically exposed persons in illicit financial activities endorse the sector's credibility and destabilize the Nigerian economy at large. Olukoyemi reaffirmed that the EFCC's commitment to collaborate with the banking sector to combat financial crimes and enhance enforcement on anti-money laundering laws. Additionally, the EFCC chairman urged the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria to intensify its regulatory oversight to ensure strict compliance with banking regulations. He warned that the Commission would no longer tolerate compliance and urged financial operators to adhere to its ethical standards, cautioning that priorities profits over national assets would hinder economic growth and Nigerian progress. That is what the EFCC board has to say, in line with the 17th annual banking conference that was held in Abuja just a few hours ago. This was his response to banks and anti-money laundering schemes that has been happening in the sector. Now, regulations have been put in place, have always been in place. Now investigations are being in place as well to be able to curb all of these and to uphold Nigerian economy. Moving on, the House of Representatives queries Bureau of Public Enterprises over a 10 billion naira spent on registration of 2 NIPS post subsidiaries. The House of Representatives have asked the Bureau of Public Enterprises to account for the 10 billion naira alleged spent to register 2 companies for Nigerian portal service. The chairman, House of Committee on Public Accounts, Bamidele Salman, made the call in Abuja at the resumed investigative hearing of the committee. The legislature is more worried that the companies registered with such humongous amounts have folded up after 1 year takeoff. According to Bamidele, the companies Nidspos Transport and Logistics Limited, Nidspos Property, reportedly took off in May 2023 and folded up through a presidential directive in May 2024. No reasonable Nigerian will believe that 10.4 billion naira was spent to register 2 companies. The companies eventually folded up 1 year after takeoff, he says. This is an alarming thing that a whole lot of questions are being asked, and now investigations need to be taken into caution, and then EFCC and the Nigerian police, all hands, ICPC needs to get involved in this, because this is obviously looking like a fraudulent act where a company is being registered for like 10.4 billion last year in the May of 2023, and then fast forward to May 2024, the company, 2 of those companies respectively, folded up after that registration. So a whole lot of questions are being asked, a whole lot of concerns are being raised. So now questions are being asked, and then answers are what we need from the EFCC, ICPC, and the minister who is in charge of the public accounts, as well as Nidsport. We need to get an answer to all of these questions. Where did the money go? How would you register a company for 10.4 billion, and then a year later those 2 companies are no longer in business? So we, like the minister says, no reasonable Nigerian would believe that happened. So questions are being asked. EFCC, we are waiting on you to convict whoever, and then ask questions, investigate, and convict whoever that needs to be convicted. Moving on, on the lighter note and on the good news, the federal government's revenue in the first quarter of the year 2024 has increased to 9.1 trillion naira, says the minister. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, announced that the federal government's revenue for the first quarter of 2024 has risen to 9.1 trillion naira, more than doubling the amount recorded in the same period in the year 2023. Speaking at the 17th Annual Banking and Finance Conference organized by the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria in Abuja, Edun, represented by Dr. Armstrong Tangan, Managing Director of the Minister of Finance Incorporated, emphasized that the government had not increased taxes. He attributed the fact that growth of the success of the government's revenue collection policies and effective use of technology. The ministers reaffirmed that the administration's commitment to meeting or surpassing its revenue generation targets. He says that such progress will enable the use of essential markets, make social and capital investments that positively impact both the economy and its citizens. The Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Olayemi Cardoso, expressed anticipation for actionable solutions from the conference, stating that this would support the bank's goal of driving the economy towards a $1 trillion milestone, $1 trillion milestone before the close of business this year. CARDOS, represented by Dr. Bate Ijobo, Director of CBN Risk Management Department, emphasized that the crucial role of bankers in the nation's economic growth and development. Mr. Bello Hassan, Managing Director of Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, congratulated the Chartered Institute of Banks of Nigeria for organizing the conference and affirmed that the NDIC's commitment to foster confidence in the banking sector. So, on the lighter note, despite the rise and fall current inflation rates of food and Nigerian inflation rate generally, which is at 33.37% and 40.35% respectively, despite all of this rise and inflation rates, Nigeria have been able to hit a milestone of 9.1 trillion of its general revenue for the first quarter. So looking on the lighter note now, despite all of these, Nigerians are suffering. We are hoping that it is going to ease down. Looking at the Nigerian policies, monetary policies on paper, it's actually looking very, very amazing. But implementation has always been one of the major challenges of Nigerian economy. So we are hoping to see that implementation of these policies that are looking excellently well on paper would effectively get into action, and the implementation will be done. Still speaking on VAT increment, the minister have come out to debunk the fact that the government have not increased the VAT, and then we are hoping that wouldn't happen, given the fact that they said any business being controlled or run from 25 million and below will be exempted from that. But at the end of the day, it's still going to boil down to the city, to each citizen, where if this VAT and tax gets increased to 10%, it's still going to boil down and fall on the citizens. How will that happen? If a company that has been run for 50 million naira now increase the price, given the fact that the federal government has increased the tax, obviously the commodities and products being sent to the market will obviously have a spike, and then the prices will go up, meaning if the citizens now can't afford those things, then they wouldn't have the basic things that they'll need to run their businesses or run their day-to-day livelihood activities. So this is a concern, and then we are hoping that the rumors will keep getting the bulk, and then we wouldn't see that. You know, at the wake of the rumors, we witnessed a fuel skyrocketed from 617 naira to 897 naira at the NNPC filling stations, and then up to 980 naira to 1,200 in different filling stations, depending on where you are or depending on where you get your petrol from. So all of these things now has actually been a challenge. So we would be hoping and praying that that increment doesn't see the light of day. Moving on, we're still talking about we're still talking currencies. Court freezes 548.6 million naira belonging to Bybit Coin Nigerian crypto users over naira inflation allegations. The Nigerian's Anti-Graft Agency and Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has secured an order from the Federal High Court to freeze 548.6 million naira in bank accounts belonging to a suspected crypto user platform like Bybit Coin, and the orders based in alleged role of naira fluctuations. The motion dated September 3rd, 2024, which the court relayed on to freeze the funds, cast the fresh spotlight on major foreign crypto platforms, Bybit and KuCoin, accusing them of aiding the devaluation of Nigerian currency. The development is part of the border purchase and legal campaign by federal government agencies to address alleged foreign exchange violation and tax evasion by foreign cryptocurrency platforms. Recall that in February 2024, Nigerian security agencies arrested two executive of Binance cryptocurrency platforms following intelligence from the National Security Advisor, which alleged that money laundering and terrorism financing activities on certain cryptocurrency exchange platforms. The EFCC is already in court against Binance and Tengeri over money laundering offenses involving around 35,000 $35.4 million US dollars rather. The recent motion now extended the indictment to Bybit and KuCoin, accusing them and several unnamed crypto platforms of enabling their Nigerian users to engage in price discovery, confirmation, and the market manipulation through their platforms, thereby accusing detectors in the markets, resulting in the Naira losing its value against other currencies. An EFCC investigator Okoro Phillips stated that the affidavit exclusively seen by newsmen that over the past few months, Nigeria experienced considered gain in currency stabilization efforts by the federal government has evinced by the dollar trading at 908 naira to a dollar on the black market. He added that these gains were swiftly reserved on Thursday, April 3rd, 2024, when the dollar surged from 1,250 naira to a dollar in the parallel markets. He also further said investigations and intelligence indicated that these fluctuations were primarily driven by activities on platforms such as Bybit, KuCoin, and other similar crypto platforms. He stated that 22 bank accounts domiciled in various Nigerian banks and described in the motion belonging to the willing sale of USDT, whose provide their Naira account to transfer the Naira equivalent to USDT. He continued that the identified account holders are users of Bybit, KuCoin, and other foreign cryptocurrency platforms who are not authorized to deal in foreign exchange activities, negotiations, or carry out cryptocurrency exchange to Naira and vice versa at a rate domiciled to Nigerian financial system. The prosecution accused the cryptocurrency platform of deliberately ignoring the monetary requirements under Nigeria's anti-money laundering laws and regulations, enabling users of the platforms to operate under a cover of secrecy. The EFCC counsel Ekele Iheanacho urged that court to freeze the bank accounts listed in its schedule, which belongs to various individuals, some of whom are either currently being prosecuted or investigated for unauthorized foreign exchange dealing, money laundering, and terrorism financing, pending the conclusion of the investigation and prosecution. Identities accounts include those of Korea Payments Network, Ade Ishola Farmers Limited, and Microco Tech Investment Services. So this is the basics, and then this is what the EFCC have been clamoring for: terrorism financing, and the EFCC, ICPC, and all security agencies are fighting tooth and nail, and all hands are on deck to be able to cop out terrorism financing, anti-money laundering in Nigeria. And also the main aim to doing all of this is to see to the fact that Nigerian Naira gets elevated and as well contend in the global markets with other currencies. That's how much time will permit us to bring to you today on Business Points. My name is Samuel Odi. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.